Do you feel stuck with your art? Do you think you're not improving at all, no matter how much time you spend drawing? Do you only feel frustration looking at other artists' work because they are more skilled, more creative, and maybe also younger than you? Let's fix this. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and in today's video we're talking about what to do when you feel stuck with your art while I'm finishing my most recent illustration of this little noodle dragon. First of all, I want to emphasize that the learning curve for any art skill is not linear. There will be times when you see massive improvements and also times you're not improving or even feeling like you've gotten worse. You've reached a plateau. If you're a beginner artist, you may be used to seeing massive improvement after only a few days or weeks of practice. So reaching a plateau can be daunting. And on top of that, there is also that thing called the taste-skill gap, which makes it really hard to stay motivated. Let me just read you a quote from Ira Glass. All of us who do creative work, we get into it because we have good taste. But it's like there's this gap. For the first couple years that you're making stuff, what you're making isn't so good. It's not that great. It's trying to be good. It has ambition to be good, but it's not that good. But your taste, the thing that got you into the game, is still killer. And your taste is good enough that you can tell that what you're making is kind of a disappointment to you. A lot of people never get past that phase. They quit. I personally think that I am still in this phase too, and I would even go so far as to say that I will probably never reach the point where my skill and my taste are at the same level. There will always be that one thing I can still improve on. There will be many things that can be improved all the time. But what can we actually do against all those negative feelings? At first, lower your expectations. The most important thing to get over this feeling of being stuck is to ignore your inner critic for a bit. I know it's easier said than done. I still struggle with this myself. Before you start your sketchbook session, try to convince yourself that it's okay that you won't create masterpieces. Expect that you won't create masterpieces. Expect to mess up, be fine with it, and then try again. When you're just studying a single thing and you're drawing it again and again, it will eventually get better. And when the frustration fades a little bit, you can go back to your failed attempts and figure out what worked and what didn't. But first, focus on the quantity over the quality. That may sound a little bit weird, but sometimes it's the right thing to do to keep going. And oftentimes, when you just draw a lot, the quality automatically improves too. Compare yourself to yourself. That means compare your present self to your past self. And that means keep all your failed attempts. I am totally guilty of covering sketches I didn't like under sticky notes, and I am doing it a lot less now, but sometimes I can't resist the urge of just making a spread look prettier. But the reason you should really keep all of your crappy sketches is to have something to compare. We as overly self-critical artists often feel like we don't improve at all, when in fact that isn't true. When we only keep our best work and look through those pieces from time to time, certainly we don't see that big of a difference in terms of improvement. But when we compare our recent sketches to our bad sketches from the past, it's much easier to see improvement and stay motivated. If you struggle to keep your bad sketches and keep tearing pages from your sketchbook, covering or erasing sketches, maybe try a cheap, dedicated, ugly sketchbook, and a pen that is not erasable. That also helps with your line confidence, and another little extra benefit is you're going to fill your sketchbooks a lot faster from now on. Looking back at your sketches after a while will prove that you actually did improve. And please don't pressure yourself to show your sketchbook to other people. Nobody ever needs to see it as long as you're not comfortable sharing it. When I'm having a bad drawing day, I usually hate everything I create. But when I look at it again, later with fresh eyes, I often realize that not everything I drew that day was so bad after all. Take it one step at a time. Do you know this situation? You're creating an illustration and suddenly you're thinking, this character looks weird, the anatomy isn't right, and I have to practice drawing hair. Also, the clothes look so stiff and this background, the perspective is kinda off. And you want to fix everything all at once. You want to get it right. Sounds familiar? I struggle with this all the time. Every time I'm drawing something for fun, I find 100 things I'm not that happy with. And that can lead to two common mistakes. The first one is to do it all at once, which results in very aimless and superficial studies of many different things, as I said, all at once. You don't really even get to the point where you have the chance to improve at drawing that one single thing because you're only sketching it once and then jump to the next thing. In the end, you have a very random page of sketches you don't really like because there's nothing you really got the hang of. The second mistake is getting so overwhelmed by all the things you need to practice that you don't know where to start and so paralyzed you don't start at all. I am guilty of both. I feel really exposed right now because that's probably the biggest problem I'm facing at the moment. Drawing one thing you're not comfortable with multiple times is no fun, but studying it is the only way to improve. So the right way to do it is pick one thing you want to study and then don't just draw it over and over, but try to understand what it is, how it works, its shape and form and so on. Then use references, use multiple references to get to draw the thing from different angles. If you want to be able to draw a thing from imagination, you have to draw that thing from reference multiple times first. Then review your studies and give yourself feedback, or if you can access it, get qualified feedback from an expert. And based on that feedback, continue your studies or move on to the next thing. But also don't forget to draw for fun too. Don't force yourself too hard. Limitations can be helpful. I kinda talked about that topic already, but limitations work for many different aspects of creating art. You wanna paint? Stick to a very limited color palette at first. You wanna study many different things in your sketchbook? Only pick one pen you really enjoy to use for the entire session. You wanna learn digital painting? Don't use too many brushes right away. Maybe try it in black and white first. You don't know what to draw? Pick a prompt or a theme and stick to it. I find these kinds of limitations help me against overwhelm. As an indecisive person, every decision I have to make costs time and energy. And the less time and energy I waste on these decisions, the more I can put into actually doing art and focusing on improvement. Prioritize sleep. Yeah, this one's kind of a no-brainer. It doesn't matter what it is you want to improve. Everything comes down to a good night's sleep. When you learn something new, the best way to memorize it is to sleep on it, to strengthen the memories you formed throughout the day, and that also seems to work for muscle memory. Ideally, you should sleep between 7 to 9 hours a night, but that varies from person to person. Also, keep in mind that you can only really focus on a thing for so long, so staying up late to practice or study a bit more might not be worth it. So, yeah, these were my 5 most important tips when you're feeling stuck with your art. I really should practice them more myself. Anyway, here are some more quick tips to stay motivated. Don't compare yourself to other artists. Pretty much self-explanatory, isn't it? Get out of your comfort zone to keep things fun and exciting, and also stay in your comfort zone when you really feel like it. Don't force yourself too hard, and remember what was fun to you before, it could be fun again. Don't care about art style so much. You already have one. The more you draw, the more it will show. End on a high note. If you can, stop when you really enjoy it instead of when you're frustrated. So you'll be looking forward to drawing again. So now I think I've said everything I wanted to say about that topic. If you have any helpful tips yourself, please let me know in the comment section. We could have a little art chat and keep each other motivated if you like. After all, I decided to make this video because I'm currently struggling with improving myself. Always keep in mind, it's a very bumpy road and not a straight line. Just keep going. However, I hope you enjoyed this video and also enjoy the rest of my illustration process. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more art content. If you're still watching, comment what kind of food animal I should draw next. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day.